But my dad saw me do that show, and I remember coming home, months afterwards, and like, papi, can I get in? And, no, hijo, no hay trabajo. All right, okay, no hay trabajo. After about 6 times being home, I finally went to my mother and said, did I do something to Dad? Because I need some fucking money.
Yeah.
And she said, you can't work with your dad no more. And I was like, what? Why? I said, sorry about that.
Yeah, no, you're good,
and
brother.
she said, no, your dad told everybody you're a star.
Oh,
and so
yeah,
he couldn't be waiting tables. And I said, well, tell him I'm not a star. And I need to wait some fucking tables.
What is up, everybody? We are live at Wildside here in New Braunfels, Texas, man, and it is going to be an exciting episode. And, man, it feels great to be in different sceneries and all that good stuff. So we are here again at Wildside. So thanks to our episode sponsor here at Wildside. Miss Cindy's right behind me as well. So she's enjoying us coming out here. Oh, sure, she is now. I'm sorry. There she is. Okay. So shout out to Cindy and Dylan for allowing us to come out here and have the show out here. And we have some special guests today, man. So before I get started, today is going to be a great event in San Antonio at Upstage Comedy Lounge. And we will have the blessings having Alex Reymundo in the house, Latin Kings of Comedy, founder of Number Juan Tequila. And we're going to find out a little bit more about Alex today, too, and what is he doing in Texas, and what does he like about Texas? We're going to find out. But I've been watching him all week, and the guy just been making me laugh for years. And I found Alex in 2002, back in the day when he was doing Latin Kings of Comedy with all those great comedians from Cheech and Martin and George Lopez, and we can go on. But this guy's been all over the world, and I'm just excited to have him. I got my boy Chancla. I got my boy Jesse E in the house. So
yo, what's up?
Let's check out the boys right here. Here we go. What's up, guys? Y'all doing good?
Oh, God, I look so fucking fat.
You are, bro. You are. You don't look.
Jesus Christ.
But that's PH80, though.
That's PH80.
This shirt's not 3D. It's just my panza.
Alex, how is it going, brother?
It's great. It's great to be back in Texas. I'm a Texas boy. You were saying what I like about Texas. Crecí aquí. I can speak Spanish, ¿verdad?
Yeah, absolutely.
Crecí aquí en Texas. Soy de Acapulco, Mexico, but I moved to Hearst, which is a suburb of Fort Worth, when I was 2 years old. So it's nice to be home.
Nice, man. That's awesome. Well, we're excited to have you, man. I appreciate you giving the time as well, man. That's awesome. So I want to kind of get started in your comedy, man. So people that don't know you, they're crazy. But I mean, when did you get started with comedy, and what got you into it?
It's 1988. I was bartending at a comedy club, which I didn't know anything about stand-up other than what I'd seen, Richard Pryor, listening to Bill Cosby.
Heck yeah.
A Howie Mandel special. Obviously, I knew who Paul Rodriguez was, but I really had never been exposed to live stand-up until I started bartending at this club. And at that time, I was just a few years out of high school. I graduated in '83. I wanted to be a musician, I wanted to be a rock star. I think one of my biggest influences ever as a kid was Elvis. He just so many girls around.
Were you like in the guitar? Were you playing the guitar and all that too?
I was playing guitar, and I strum it now. I've never been a good guitarist, but I wanted to be. And I have my sister's a full-time musician. My kids are musicians. There's a lot of musical talent in my family. It just skipped right over me. But I'm a pretty good front man for a band for 2 songs. I can fake it through that. And
is this after some tequila or before?
There's tequila's involved in my life all day long.
There you go.
So this is before, during, and after. But that's what I really wanted. I wanted to perform, but I started working in this comedy club, and I was watching, little bits and pieces of comics, and I just remember laughing as hard as I fucking could.
Yeah.
I can say that, right?
No, absolutely. You can say whatever you want.
But I also saw these comics walking out with the prettiest girls in the room, and I was like,
I want to be one of those
shit,
guys.
I want to try that. And that was, it's a weird way to be inspired into an art form, but I discovered that it went well enough for me to keep pursuing it. But I did discover an art form where I get to speak my mind.
Hell yeah, man.
And I love that about it. I remember the first time that I actually didn't have to bartend, and I went and watched a comedy show in that club because I'd already worked there for 5 months. A guy named James Gregory used to bill himself as the funniest man in America. Very great storyteller.
Okay.
And I just remember my face hurting for 90 minutes
from laughing.
From laughing so hard. And I also love the lifestyle that these guys and girls were coming in and out of there. And again, I was a bartender, so I had to take them, towels or whatever they needed at the condo. And every time I would go to the pool, they'd be there with the girls that we saw from the night before, and it was exciting to me, and so I started, doing stand-up, and I did it for about 8-9 months as an amateur, and then I hit the road, and I've been unemployed since.
What do you think was the hardest during that time of starting comedy at that time? Because now comedy's so huge, right? But and I'm not saying it's easy. To do that is hard, right? But I feel like with social media and all this stuff, it's a little bit easier to get out there in a way, right? But back then, was it a little bit harder?
It was definitely different. I don't know if it was any harder because or easier because no matter what, you have to get up on that stage.
Yeah.
And the crowd has to respond, and whether they respond in a good or a negative way, positive or negative, we're the first ones to feel it, hopefully, if you're paying attention. And so, I can't really speak to all the work that it took. All I know is I just went in that direction and didn't stop. I have good parents. My mother and father encouraged anything we wanted to do, and their advice to us was, "Hey, be great and don't quit."
What do you feel you've always been like a funny person? Did that come when you were young? Really?
Not at all. As a matter of fact, I was soy bien callado, ¿verdad? I was very shy, kind of inhibited kid, but I was an instigator. I was very much an instigator. I like to party. I get along with a lot of people, and I like to get people in trouble, me in trouble. Like just yesterday, I was shopping with my wife and daughter, and some stories came out, and my daughter was like, when I was 11, I was kicked out of the mall. I was banned from the mall in my neighborhood, and my mother found out because we were Christmas shopping. And the manager of the mall came and said, he's not allowed in here. And it was my mother, ay, mijo, ¿qué hiciste? But when we were telling the story, my daughter was like, what the fuck? What did you do? What were you doing at 11 that you got? But I'm not a delinquent, but I'm right on that edge.
Yeah, well, that's
right on that edge.
Hey, man, that's probably bringing you plenty of stories. And what I love about the most about your comedy is you include your family, but at the same time, man, it's funny. And one thing I wanted to ask you was this: my name is Justin, right? And I'm Latino, I'm Mexican, right?
Right.
So I wanted to ask if you could give me a Latin name like
Joaquin. Joaquin, I'm going to find your mom and dad and smack them.
Yeah, I know.
And not on my behalf, on my father's behalf.
Right, there you go.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. So we got Chancla here as well. Appreciate you. Man, y'all are going to kill it tonight. I already know, man. I'm excited about y'all's show
Yeah, we were
tonight,
talking about that on the way over here. Give me some really good advice. Again, thank you.
No, thank you. I'm totally impressed by this guy.
Well, you haven't seen nothing yet.
Hey, you want to talk about bad influence, though? I'm just saying.
He's the real instigator here in your office.
You know it. Yeah, no, actually, the way I found him was, so I'm pretty,
I was in the Lost and Found.
Yeah.
He was on Pornhub.
I was like, let me go to the INS page and see if I can find him. I'm pretty oblivious when it comes to like the world around me. So I don't know who has social media. And a lot of the times, the generation before me is like, I just have Facebook. I don't do Instagram. I don't do TikTok, none of that stuff. Until somebody told me you actually had a page. And then they sent it to me and I was like, this is fake. This is not him. There's no way. This is probably like a fan page or whatever.
He's got 11 followers. This has got to be fake.
And then he showed me the message he sent you and stuff. And then you reached out. And I'm telling you, when I first got that message, I was fucking floored. I literally ran around like a little girl. I was just like, this is happening. Like, oh my God. Like, okay, so what do I say? What do I do?
Alex is got
I know. The first thing I told him, I was like, oh my God, it's such a fucking honor to fucking like have you. And
that's
then
awesome,
we ended up on the phone and now we're here. And
Yeah,
so,
Well, I've talked to some of your friends and they said that You've always run like a little girl.
Well, are you sure you just didn't talk to my wife?
Yeah. I did have to say this. We've just known each other a little bit. We met for the first time today in person. Yeah. But you were asking J-Rock about how it is today and yesterday, and really impressed with what he's doing, what you're doing with the social media, because that's something I don't do at all. And I'm looking forward to watching your stand-up, and that just kind of shows that this industry is ever-changing.
Yep. Yeah.
But at the same time, it's the same, because ultimately you have to get up there if you're doing stand-up, and you have to get up there and entertain the people somehow. I'm such a fan of stand-up comedy. I don't care what somebody's doing.
Yeah.
Not a big fan of jugglers, but I don't care if someone has a guitar, if they're doing, if they're. I love ventriloquists. I'm just a fan of entertaining.
I was about to say
people.
entertainment. Yeah.
Entertaining people, no matter what you do, and either way, you got to figure that out, and you got to be yourself.
What would a young Alex Reymundo tell? I mean, what would you go back and tell a young Alex Reymundo today, and what you're doing today in this industry?
I would say what I say to any comic that I get to work with. I would say, be yourself. Talk about you. No one else can take those stories. Anyone can talk about an airplane ride or this or that.
Absolutely.
But it's your own take of it. But so speak of your life, because no one has lived your life. Always record yourself, because you have to go back and study that tape. Today on the flight here from Baltimore to here, it was 4.5 hours. I listened to 3 of my shows. And I slept through most of it, but I'm listening, and I'm just kind of hearing what happened over the last month. I always record myself. Oh, I was bored.
No,
you were
like,
I was very bored. This guy sucks. I can sleep through my show.
He's learning through osmosis.
But I always say you have to study that tape, because there's no way you can leave a stage, whether you just did 4 minutes or an hour, and remember how it all went down. There's no way, because your perception when you're up there is completely different. So you need to go back and study it and learn from it. Well, that was a good turn. That was a bad turn. That was a good pause. That was, oh shit, I've never said that before. Fits perfect there.
Yeah.
And the last piece of advice I would give any young comic is don't suck. It's that easy. Be yourself, record, and work on it, and don't suck.
There you go, man.
That's
awesome. Man. That's awesome. I'm also curious as well, Alex. I know you hit Latin Kings of Comedy 2002, right?
You know what? I forget what the years.
Okay, so
yes, probably.
Yeah, I did a little research on you.
Thank you.
So, but when you're going through this process with these guys, man, and you're now. I mean, that's a big cast to be a part of, right? Was there anyone specifically that you learned from, or kind of took any of them to kind of take you underneath their wing a little bit?
Absolutely, Paul Rodriguez.
Okay.
I was on the Latin Kings because of what Paul thought of me. I met Cheech when we were shooting the Latin Kings for that week. I met George that week. Joey Medina I met because I had been doing shows with Paul, which Joey was also doing shows with Paul. And at the time, Paul's always been very gracious with the stage. He's always shared it with anyone and everyone, mostly Latino comics. And there was a lot of comics that shot the Latin Kings, and they let us know up front that only 2 of you are going to make the cut. And that wasn't, it wasn't just who had the best set. Well, you had to have a good set, but you also had to, because Paramount was behind it, they kind of chose. There was a lot of factors, and we had nothing to do with any of it. We've taped 4 shows, and all the young comics, George, Paul, and Cheech were on all of them, but all the young comics did 2 sets. And Joey and I were blessed enough to be the ones that, whoever and everyone that chose that we made that cut. But it was very surreal to be sitting. I remember during that week, Cheech was celebrating his 55th birthday, and we were sitting at a big table. There's people from Showtime, from Paramount, from all the comics, obviously, and there was a lot of us, and there's probably 14 of us at a table celebrating Cheech's birthday, and we were drinking a bottle of tequila, several bottles of tequila, but there was one bottle that was like $800. It was like an $800 bottle of tequila on the table, and I remember one time Joey Medina and myself, because we were roommates, me and Joey looked at each other with, how the fuck did we get to this table?
How are we sitting here
Yeah,
right now,
and
right?
it was a great moment. I still remember it, but you know what? It took a lot of hard work because before Paul saw me, I had 4 or 5 years of road comedy under my belt. I came from Texas, and when I came out of Texas, I went east. I went northeast to Missouri and those cities and states, and I remember when I got to LA. That I thought I'm going to be a star right away. This is going to be great. And I went to the Latino night at the Laugh Factory.
Okay.
They used to do. I don't know if it's still Latino night on Monday night, but it used to be. But they would do 2 shows on a Monday night, and I remember watching Willie Barcena, Pablo Francisco, Rudy Moreno, Freddie Soto, Darren Carter, he's brown. Felipe Esparza, Gabriel hadn't even started comedy.
So Felipe was there back then too?
Yeah, but wow. I remember watching from the back of the room and literally thinking, this is going to take a lot longer than I thought. Yeah. Because I was so impressed with every one of those Latino, because I didn't think there were that many Latino comics.
Yeah.
And they just blew me away because they were all different. They all had different styles, and they all had something to say. And I genuinely remember, and I've said this on podcasts before, there was some girl, the Laugh Factory, they're this close to you. Yeah. And some girl leaned over to her boyfriend and she said, this guy, he sounds funny. He talks funny. And I was like, what the fuck? I sound funny. I sound like I'm from America. You don't. But Paul dug me. He saw me and he was like, you're kind of different. You're this whole hillbilly Mexican thing. And he took me under his wing and he let me open a lot of shows for him, which gave me great confidence. Yeah. It gave me great confidence, but I put the road work in.
Yeah.
I put the
That's
road
crazy
work in.
that you say that, because to me, when I think about you, I also kind of think about Paul Rodriguez. Just like we all think about Latinos in certain ways, right?
Yeah.
And I've always kind of thought about that, and I've loved both y'all's work, man. It's been so awesome, man.
I'm honored that I hear his name and someone would say that they think of me in that conversation, because I'm just some kid out of Texas telling dick jokes and trying to speak my mind and have fun and stay unemployed and pick up some chicks. And I'm not trying to pick up chicks anymore. I've been happily married for 30 years.
That's awesome, man.
Nice.
Yeah, heck yeah. You got anything real quick, Jesse?
Yeah, speaking of Joey Medina, he's the boxer.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So believe it or not, from Latin Kings of Comedy, I still use 2 of y'all's jokes to this day.
Yeah.
So for you, I always say, up the fanny, buddy.
Up the fanny, buddy.
Right, I love that part. And then from Joey Medina, when he talks about the vibrator, he's like, you get your woman a one that doesn't work, and then when you show up, this is what you need, Majita. So I still use that line, but man, it's an honor to be here with you. I was telling J-Rock, and I told you earlier, we have actually hung out twice.
Yeah.
You and I.
Yeah.
I saw him in Vegas at some mansion Halloween party. It wasn't a Diddy party, all right?
Yeah, no.
Throw
But
that
you
shit
were
out
on
there.
a Diddy,
We got freaky, but
you
not
were on
that
a Diddy
freaky.
comedy show, weren't you?
I did P. Diddy's Bad Boys of Comedy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Was it a slippery night?
It was a wetback type of night, baby.
A couple of things. We go to a lot of parties, right? Joey Medina is one of the funnest hangs in the world. Joey's he's my brother, and I miss the times that we got to spend. There were probably 4 years in my life when I had more dinners with Joey than I did my own wife.
Oh, wow.
Just because we were out on the road all the time.
So much,
There's
that's awesome.
just no one that I really enjoy hanging out with that much. But we find ourselves in a lot of fun places, and when you showed me the images of us, I was like, I guess we do know each other.
Yes.
And forgive me for not remembering, but
no worries.
We
I'm very
party a lot.
unrememberable.
That's exactly what I told him. I was like, bro, I'm sure he's probably met so many people.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
but at the same time, man, I'm sure it's hard to remember everybody,
But
bro.
you know what? I'll say this. Every moment, I think, and I think this goes for anybody, whether you're in show business or not, it's a genuine moment, right? You're partying, you're having a good time, and I might not recognize you because, you showed me pictures of you and me together in New Orleans and Vegas.
Yeah.
And now we're in New Braunfels, so, I'm usually running from the cops. So I don't know you, man.
And we had good conversation because at the time I was entertainment director for 6 clubs in New Orleans.
Oh.
And I had put you in contact with the GM. And I don't know what happened there because you guys were supposed to communicate about bringing the tequila in.
I probably got drunk.
But I had set it up. I said, hey, look, this is Alec. You were having a good time. I gave him my microphone, and actually Ron White got on stage. He took my microphone, and he got up, and he actually sang a song with the band Shout out to Rockbox, right? So he did pretty damn good.
You know what? That's again back to why I got into this industry or into show business is. We do that. That was our favorite, me and Ron and me. That's my favorite thing to do after a show, whatever city, any town USA is after our shows. We would always go seek live music and just be part of the party. And like I said, I can fake one or two songs. I have this fond memory of walking into a bar one time, and I start beelining to backstage where the band is getting ready to play, and this guy security goes, hey, are you with the band? I said, not yet. Because I just like, me gusta el relajo, ¿verdad?
Yeah.
And I can fake it enough that we can have some fun, and that's what it's about. I'm just seeking a good time anywhere I go, and it's amazing. I'm blessed in the sense that we've been able to continue this nonsense for as long as we have.
Yeah, and one thing I do want to say, I'm proud of you, man, because 10 years ago when I met you in Vegas, you were you just starting with Juan Tequila?
Yeah, Number Juan Tequila launched, and we started everything in 2011. We launched in 2013. So what are we now? We're 12 years old, and we're in 35 states now.
Heck yeah.
We're not in those 6 bars yet. That's my fault. That's totally my fault. But we've been working hard. You know?
Man.
And we own and operate it. When people, you should know this about Number Juan. It's me and our small core team, literally, making the phone calls and busting our ass and trying to share something beautiful with people.
I love it.
Yeah. It's
genuine. I want to share a little something real quick, if that's okay, guys. So created with heart and passion, Number Juan, I love that, Number Juan, by the way. Yeah. Tequila is made with the finest agave located in the heartland. I'm going to butcher this. Say it for me. Amatitan, Jalisco. We never sacrifice, right? Quality for mass production. Our tequila delivers a superior smoothness with all the taste of Mexico. So right now, guys, y'all can't see, but I'm showing everybody a photo of you in all 3 of your different flavors. So what is that, Blanco?
Blanco reposado and extra añejo.
There you go, man.
And I want you to know I wrote that, what you just read.
Really?
And I didn't, it's not a fable. It's the family that makes this tequila. They are century-old farmers distilling for decades now. And they're artists, and which is what we love about them, because we're artists, and they don't compromise integrity for mass production. And again, we didn't start this because we thought, we're going to become millionaires over this. Yeah. Because, by the way, we're not. I'm not. Ron's a millionaire. I'm not. And this tequila has made us no money yet. But I just wanted to drink it.
Yeah.
And I want to share it with as many people. I just turned Cindy onto it.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, my God, that's really good. I said, that's what I'm trying to tell you.
That's right. Hey, shout out to Cindy. And again, Wildside, if you are just tuning in right now, they let us come in here and do an amazing show as we're doing now. If you haven't been to their place, you saw it at the beginning of the show. And if you're just tuning in now, go back to the beginning. It's a great place to come in, have a great drink. They have many specialty drinks as well.
What in the gay shit is that back there?
So this is a flamingo drink. Perfect timing, John. So here, this is
one
of
Joaquin.
the specialties.
If he was a wrestler, he'd be the
There
walk.
you go. So this is one of the drinks here. So the flamingo drink. Come here and check it out. But before I drink that, I want to get a drink of your tequila, so I'm going to come over there as well.
Yes, pour it up.
You want to tell us what's going on tonight as well?
Chancla.
Yeah, well, first of all, let me share a story about the tequila real quick that I had today.
Absolutely.
So Alex tells me, go pick up a bottle of the tequila. I call, Twin Liquors? I call Twin Liquors, and the guy...
Total?
Yeah, Total?
Total Wine.
Fucking whatever. I called over there, and I was like, do y'all have Number Juan Tequila? And the guy was like, what? And I was like, yeah, Number Juan Tequila. I spelled it out for him. He's like, laughing. He's like, this has got to be a joke, right? And I was just like, no, it's real. So you know what? I'm going to go in there. And I get in there and find this guy, Matt. Shout out to poor Matt. And he was just walking around miserable. But anyways.
His name is Mateo.
And then we found it, and he was like laughing. He was like, holy fuck, this is real. I haven't seen this. I'm like, y'all don't pack this shit? Like, I'm pretty sure I don't remember everything. But yeah, what we got going on tonight. So huge blessing, because I only got a hold of Alex because I wanted to do a podcast with him. And he's like, hey, let's do a show. And I was like, oh, fuck. Yeah, okay, this is...
Let's make it work.
I mean, if I'm coming to town, let's do a show.
I better make some fucking money.
And I'm showing the flyer right now. I'm showing the flyer for tonight right now, too.
We're going to be at the Upstage Comedy Lounge tonight. It's a huge honor. So I'm emceeing and technically opening up for him in a way. So
the master of ceremonies.
Yes. And so when he presented that to me, I literally fucking dropped to the floor when that happened. But we're going to be out there tonight. Our ticket sales went up, thank God.
A las 10.
A las 10.
So here's the cool thing, everybody.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Joe's going to be with me. Brian Torres Day is going to be with me. And those are two young, upcoming hot Latino comics. And I mean hot.
Caliente.
He says hot because he sees me sweating all the fucking time.
I don't know if you've been to the Upstage Comedy Lounge. It's owned. I don't even know Bobby Smith. I think is his last name. He's a comic, and I just did a show with him a couple of months ago, and I've been working for him for 2 years. I had no idea. He's very funny. But he also, kind of like this tequila, it's a little place, but he gives a shit about stand-up comedy. And it's a terrible little neighborhood. But when you go in the club, it's a well-set-up comedy club. And we're doing the late show. It's 10 o'clock, so you can be at work and you don't have to rush. Yeah. It's not raining. There's no NFL on. The Texas-Ohio State game, it'll be over.
I'm going right after you,
So there is no
bro.
reason not to come to this show. It's a great place to see some fun stand-up, and it's a great time. It's a great venue to see stand-up anytime. But tonight, I think it's going to be a little treat.
That's awesome, man. So go ahead, Nashak.
No, I was just agreeing with him.
Yeah, no, so where were you born? Were you born in Texas?
Born in Acapulco.
Acapulco. Okay, but you said you're from, you love Texas, or you've been...
I grew up in Hearst. I moved to this country when I was 2 years old, so I'm an immigrant.
Okay, gotcha, man.
To this day, I'm a resident alien.
Dude, I can't even tell by
Have you seen the show Resident Alien?
Huh?
Have you seen the show Resident
Yes,
Alien?
I have. Yes, I have. I have.
I fucking love it.
It's funny, and I think
That should be your next...
Season 4 or 5, I was like, this is ridiculous.
That should be your next title is Resident Alien.
You know? I did that for 1 year for Halloween.
It's clicking in there.
Right?
I always try to do something of my heritage for Halloween. And 1 year at my kids' private school, we went for the Halloween thing, and I wore a cape and an alien mask. But I just had this banner that said Resident Alien. And people were like, she got in trouble because of me. Like, that is just wrong. You should whatever.
That's awesome.
So what happened to all the fabulous black hair? You're just graying it out?
Ya estoy viejo, mira.
You're going to be the Silver Fox now?
Silver Fox.
Puro Pantene Pro V commercial.
I know.
It's still healthy, right? It's still healthy.
He's like, I had a lot of dandruff, so I let my hair...
I'm 60 years old, you know.
Still looking great, brother.
Yeah.
Still
You look
looking great,
fantastic, man.
You know, but I embraced my age. You know, I've never given a shit about my age, whatever it was. I think the only age I cared about was 21 because I wanted to be able to legally drink.
Yeah, hell yeah.
But, you know, I'm wearing a knee brace. You know?
I put on Ben Gay my back this morning, bro. I feel you.
I'm not embarrassed. I mean,
Sorry, honey, that's not the lube. It's the Ben Gay. Why does it burn?
This is what you need, mijita.
You know, it's who I am, and but hey, I'm still talking shit. You know.
Oh yeah.
I'm still talking shit.
Hey, don't ever stop either, bro.
Yeah.
Don't ever stop either. I think the best thing that I've being around some elderlies that just have fun and talk shit, man, they live forever, brother.
Bro, don't talk about me like
You know,
that.
so yeah, there you go. That's one. Yeah, that's one. Oh yeah, man. So man, I'm super excited for you to be around. Have you ever been to New Braunfels before as well?
Yeah, we used to come down and you know, again, I'm from Fort Worth, so we'd come down to this area and float the river and do all the things that you do, you know, an inner tube with a cooler and you know, that was when I was 15 to 22, you know, that we would do that.
Because y'all were more free back then. Now we're being charged and everything.
Yeah, I
Now
had
you
no
get
idea what it'd be
fees.
like now. I'd probably be pissed off at the way it's run now.
Oh yeah. Now you get deported and shit.
So you better watch out.
I know, I'm still waiting to go back.
A fee? I'm immigrating. What are you talking about?
Hey, now you even got to pay to get into the area.
I know,
Yeah,
right?
it's crazy, man. It's crazy how it's changed around here. But I'm glad to hear that you've been around here from New Braunfels.
Oh
and stuff
no,
like
no!
that too,
It
man.
was
That's
it was a
awesome.
big stop, you know, when we were kids, and but now I've floated rivers in Idaho and Missouri and you know in different places, which is another beautiful thing about stand up. We were talking about this on the way here. You get to see this nation, and one of the things I really appreciated about the U.S. of A., which is a beautiful nation, everybody, and I'm one of those guys going to tell you how beautiful it is, and the beautiful thing. Well, I think the best thing about it is if you don't like something happening, we can change it. So quit bitching and change it.
That's right.
But you know, just the fact that there are interstates to take you to every crevice of this nation is a beautiful thing because it doesn't exist in other countries. I've been all over the world, and it doesn't exist in other places to the degree that we have highways that you can drive through the Rocky Mountains, you know, and in Alaska. Anyway, it's one of the things
awesome.
I appreciate. Yeah.
That's something I haven't been able to appreciate too much is traveling. Growing up here, and my family didn't really travel too much, so that's something like my buddy Jesse and my business partner Johnny. I thought he was in there. You go, Johnny. They kind of pull me around, and so it's been pretty awesome, man. So I do need to get out more though.
Well, I didn't get to until I started doing stand-up. You know, at 23, like I said, I started doing it, and I've been to. I'm lucky enough, fortunate enough, blessed enough to have now done stand-up in all 50 states and different nations. And, and one of the things that I've also done is when I'm at a beautiful place, whether my toes are in the sand and I'm looking at a clear beach or the Gulf or a mountain or a river or the snow or wherever I'm at, I take it in from my mom and dad because, you know, they didn't get to do that. My mother and father. My dad was a waiter. My mother was a housekeeper, and they sacrificed a lot of shit so me and my brothers and sisters can do what we do. Awesome. And so when I'm there, I'm gonna get a little emotional on this. I kind of, you know. Pienso de mi papá. Which, by the way, that's my father's face on the neck of every Juan Tequila.
Okay.
Yeah, so when you get a bottle of Number Juan Tequila, that's mi papá, Juan Alejandro Reymundo.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that's a name right there, brother.
That's what's up. I was wondering who the dude was on.
Yeah.
Who he was.
Wow.
Very cool.
That is awesome, man. So did your parents get to see your come up and everything? Okay. You still have them? You still have your
my
parents?
dad passed away 17 years ago. Thank you, brother. My mom's still alive, and so I'll see her this Saturday, and I'll spend a couple days with her. But my dad, you know, it's kind of cool because, again, I grew up in hospitality, and as a young comic, you know, I'd come back into town, and I was like, Papi, you know, my dad knew everybody in Dallas and Fort Worth, and so he worked in all the nicest places, and I could always count on my dad giving me some banquet gigs, and I'd pick up, you know, $150 or $300 or whatever in a night. And then one night I got to open for Chicago, the band.
Oh, wow.
At Starbucks.
Damn.
And the only reason I got that gig is because they called the Funny Bone Comedy Club, and I was the manager. And I was like, yeah, I know who you can use. Yeah, it'd be perfect for you. But guess what? There was like 17,000 people there, and I fucking rocked it, right?
Hell yeah.
And this is a kind of funny story. The promoter said, hey, man, if you need any tickets for the show. And I said, well, how many can I have? And he said, you can have whatever you want. And I said, really? And I said, because I got a big family. And he goes, yeah, no, whatever many you want. And it's an amphitheater, so there's lawn seating. And so I threw out the messages. And back in that day, there was no cell phones. So I threw out the message to my family. I knew I was going to be there for 4 days. And I called him and I said, hey, man, how do I get those names on the guest list? He said, just tell me the names. I said, he goes, how many you got? I said, 43. He goes, what the fuck? 43? And he just started laughing. And he goes, you got some big balls, kid. Yeah, and I said, I'm sorry, man. I told you I got to bet. He goes, you know what? I'm going to give you 43 tickets. He gave me 43 tickets. It was lawn seating. But my whole family, my tios, tias, primos, everybody came out, friends. And I got to tell you, I got to take a drink.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Don't cry.
Yeah, cheers.
Don't cry because you're going to make me cry.
Hey, man, cheers to everybody real quick.
Cheers.
Salute on that. Yeah, salute on that. Heck yeah. Salute.
At you. Yeah.
At you.
A couple of things happened during that show. One of them, my Uncle Tony, who really inspired me when I was a kid. He was a musician, and we used to go watch him play in bars, which I hadn't seen for like 11 years. He was actually at that show, and while I'm up there, he's screaming, "Hey, Alex!" all this stuff, and finally I was like, "Someone's screaming at me," and I was like, and he's like, "It's me, Uncle Tony," and I was like, Uncle Tony, holy shit. I was like, I'm a little fucking busy right now. But that was a great moment, right? But my dad saw me do that show, and I remember coming home, you know, months afterwards, and I go, Papi, can I get in? Oh, no, hijo, no hay trabajo. All right, okay, no hay trabajo. After about 6 times being home, I finally went to my mother and said, did I do something to Dad? Because I need some fucking money.
Yeah.
And she said, you can't work with your dad no more. And I was like, what? Why? I said, sorry about that.
Yeah, no, you're good,
and
brother.
she said, no, your dad told everybody you're a star.
Oh.
And so he couldn't be waiting tables. So I said, well, tell him I'm not a star, and I need to wait some fucking tables. But in my dad's eyes, he was like, I mean, he saw me, you know, do well in front of 17,000 people.
Yeah, he wanted you to definitely go after it.
And before that, he used to always say, hijo, ¿qué vas a hacer? You know, tienes que ir a la escuela, tienes que hacer esto, tienes que hacer whatever. But he was like, no, that's what you're going to do. So,
man, that's awesome, brother.
Sorry.
Well,
Dude, I love that.
appreciate you
I love
sharing
that
with us,
story, man.
Hell yeah. I appreciate you sharing with us, man. Yeah, I think
I love my dad.
I think all of us as Latinos and Hispanics, we go through some of that with our dads, and they're always so strong with us and want us to have that pride, you know. But I think at the end of the day, we got to keep being who we are, right?
Yeah.
And show that we can overcome every obstacle that may come at us. And I'm just in this small town, German town, right? But there was a lot of obstacles I had that won't be for everybody else, but we all go through our own shit, man. So again, I appreciate you sharing that with us.
No,
man.
absolutely, man. You know, I remember, again, we grew up, what I like to think is poor, right? And you were telling me stories. I'm like, holy shit. But we grew up with not much, but my dad loved movies.
Yeah,
and he would love movies. That was one of our escapes. And he would say, you know, and he would watch at the end of the movie. And he'd go, mira, 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 mira. He'd watch the credits. He'd go, mira, mira. Dice, flores, flores. I was like, so you don't know that guy. Mira, mira, Ramirez. Mira, mira, cabrón. And I go, you don't know those people? He goes, son Latinos, güey. He said, that means you can do it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Heck yeah,
So,
man. That's awesome.
Hey,
that's good advice as well, man.
Started from the border, now you're here.
I feel like what's the movie? Cuba Gooding Jr. and Tom.
Oh God, what is that?
I said I wasn't gonna cry. I said I wasn't gonna cry. It's the tequila. It's the tequila.
It's so good.
I wish tequila made me cry. It just makes me get naked and black out.
That makes other people cry.
I'm not going to drink it because the last time I did, I had to pay child support.
Oh damn!
And he's still on it, so you know.
I thought you were gay.
Only on the weekends.
Hey, shout out to Brian Torsday.
Yeah, he
Brian
just showed up.
Torsday's
Man.
here.
I saw
Brian's
him
here
walk
with
in
us,
the
man.
room. He's a great comic. I've seen some clips, Brian. I'm looking forward to working with you
Good to be here,
tonight.
guys.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, he's gonna be on tonight
I think
too,
it's-
as well. He's
Hey,
there on the flyer, man.
I do think it's gay that you spell it Y-A-N, though. I have to say that.
Hey, funny story about Brian. We were just working out at Platinum Fitness, and he was on the treadmill, and we went up to say what's up to him, but he didn't even look at us. He was in the zone.
Yeah.
So he was right by the treadmill. Yeah, at Platinum Fitness in New Braunfels. We're like, what's up, B? And you're like, you didn't even look at us, man. I was like, oh, he's in
He's
the
like,
zone.
oh, those are fans.
He's
Those are
dedicated.
fans.
I was trying not to die.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, man. I think it's just really cool, Alex, for you to come and do this, man. It really means it. I
Yes.
know Chankla's making an impact. Chankla's making an impact on me too, brother, and I appreciate that about him. And I know we are about to do some great things, man, but he's been doing great things. And so I appreciate you coming out. You know, I'm kind of saying this for him. I appreciate you coming out to this evening, man.
No,
it's awesome, bro.
I feel blessed because, again, you know, you guys are doing shit that I don't do, and I admire it. I admire it. I respect it, and I thank you for sharing that platform with me because, you know, I'm just this old guy telling the stories that I tell. But I've neglected that part of my career, you know, the social media thing, because it's just not me. Every time I start to do something, I can hear my father, "Sácate, cabrón, vete afuera a jugar. No estás aquí con tus pinche video games." You know, and
Do we have the same dad? No.
Yeah, we do. We really do. And
I feel honored that Alex Reymundo made a post about me 7 years ago. So that
What did I do?
You said, "Hey, good times with my good friend Jesse Escobar," and you shared it on your stuff.
There
so
you go.
awesome.
See,
I was like,
I knew
hey.
how to work it back then.
Hey, we had I got to work with Chancla with Martin, and same with him, right? He's not so. I mean, I know he does Instagram, but he doesn't do other platforms as well, correct?
He does, but I think he gets it though. Like he knows he knows that it needs to be done. And especially when I was talking to Gabe, Gabe was like, you know, social media. Gabe, I'm gonna let you know again, I'm not an influencer, bro. I don't sell shit online, all right? I'm not selling you soaps and fucking shit. But yeah, I mean, just to kind
I
of
thought you
hear.
were selling condoms, bro. The glow in the dark ones.
No,
Who is?
I'm selling
Chancla.
food stamps.
Oh, he's selling food stamps.
2 for $1. All right.
Sign me up, bro.
No, but it's so interesting to hear the perception of what they think social media is, right?
Yeah.
Because again, you guys came up from grinding it on the road, but hearing what they're like when Gabe called me an influencer, I was a little angry. I was like, bro, what the fuck?
I'll be honest, I don't know what it is. I really don't. I don't know what it is. And I need to tackle it. I need to, you know, use that tool to reach the masses. But
It's you know what? It's been a great platform for me to be able to do my comedy bits. And I think it's, I'll be honest with you, and some may disagree with me. I think it's so much worse to bomb on social media because one, your followers, you start
they're
losing
brutal.
that. It's publicly known that you suck. And then 2, people will let you know, and they won't let you live it up for the rest of your life. Like, yeah, well, this guy made this other video and it sucked, and you're not that funny. Because, man, trolls on the internet, I love it. But, horrible. I mean, it's like some comics will tell me, like, you don't get it. You got to go out. And I'm all like, have you tried to retain 235,000 people? Like, no. And it's so difficult to do every single day. There's days I wake up and I'm like, I lost 3,000 followers in a month. And it's so hard. It's like, what am I doing wrong? You like, it really puts you in your head. So, I told him the shit that he does, because I went back to rewatch his stuff with Shane Gillis and what those guys are doing and Tony Hinchcliffe. I was like, dude, this is the perfect time for your style of comedy to come back.
And I don't know where that goes, Alex, but he's absolutely correct. Like, we need you out there, man. Like, representing Latinos, brother. Really? And you're sitting next to a guy that, and I'm sitting next to Brian too. These guys know what they're doing. That motherfucker got me going on Instagram, and I didn't really want to do Instagram, but he showed me the importance of what it is, right? And I think sometimes we just need that. We just need
no,
to
absolutely.
be around.
Hey, we all need to learn from each other. That's absolute. And to what your point of what you were saying of how tough it is, for this generation that seems passive and accepting to everybody, they can be fucking brutal to you, And by the way, I'm not afraid of rejection at all. I don't give a shit about that because I'm going to be me no matter what, and that's why I stay happy, and
gives me a reason to be a bitch to people. So,
well, hey, J-Rock, to piggyback on what you're saying, not just Latinos but Chicanos. Right, some people that can cater to both sides, both American white-speaking people to Latinos también. So doing both sides is something that we all look up to.
Well, I think it kind of goes back to what I said. Just be you, you, and I go to LA and there's people that come out to see me, but there's people that don't see me for, I don't know why, as Latino, but I'm like, fuck, I was born in Mexico. I'm español, and all that, but hey, that's.
Do you think it's because you don't got really like an accent?
I don't know.
Because when I hear you, bro, I didn't know you were from Mexico, but when I obviously look you up and do my research, I'm like, oh, this guy's from fucking Mexico.
I don't know what it is, but I can't spend any of my day worrying about what it is. I'm just going to be me. I'm just going to be me. And whether somebody digs me because they're Latino or because they're married or because they're my age or because they like dick jokes or because they like that I'm honestly raw. I don't, whatever. I'm just going to try to be me. It's my goal on stage to just say what I want to say, and as I'm doing it, try to sense what's happening and regurgitate it in a way that it's palatable to most of the people there that night. Because even though I'm going to say what I want to say, I don't want to lose any of the audience. I hate losing someone that heckled or someone that I was offended. I offended them. One of the things that I've heard a lot is I'm always going to say what I want to say, but in an older audience, people go, man, and you didn't even cuss. You weren't. I'm like, did you? What? But I don't know if it's because I'm smiling when I say it, or like you said, I talk about my family. I do, and I talk a lot of shit about my wife and kids and my mother, but not in a hateful way. I never have, and I don't know.
Dude,
I'm still trying to figure it out.
You just explained social media.
Yeah.
Like you just explained social media right now.
Really?
And all the ins and outs, you just explained it right now. Yeah. So you're
turns out I know what I'm talking about.
You can easily get out of it. You can easily do it, man. So
for
sure.
I'm telling you, it's so easy. I've worked with people that are like 70, 80 years old, like small businesses. And once they kind of get the hang of what social media is.
See you, dudes.
Dude, I'm telling you. 'Cause there's 80-year-old women right now playing Fortnite. And they're making thousands of dollars. So if they can get it,
at video games.
Once you understand it, it's easy.
Yeah. I just, I hear my father's voice saying, "Afuera, hijo la chingada."
What are you playing, Candy Crush?
Yeah.
Such an old person's game.
Remember, his dad is the same one that says, "Well, feo, pero he's a good boy."
Yeah. Oh, dude, I love that joke, bro. I love that joke, man. That's a great joke.
It's the truth.
He'd be proud of you if you'd be full of shit.
Yeah. Well, Phil, but he's a good boy. Oh my
That's
God!
awesome.
I was talking to my son. My son's a musician, and my daughter also on all music platforms: SoundCloud, Spotify, whatever iTunes, whatever it is.
Plug
You
him,
can check
man.
out.
How do we...
Mariah
Okay.
Reymundo, and he goes just by Reymundo, and they're a lot of fun. They're great. They're great, and the talent they have, I'm amazed at. And I get to sit back and watch and say, "Wow, it's their turn to do their thing."
Man. What advice are you giving them, bro, in the entertainment business?
I get such a thrill out of watching them. They just did a show a couple weeks ago in Louisville, Kentucky, and I just sit back and I'm the stage dad. I'm working the door. I'm doing all this stuff for them. I'm their roadie.
So cool, man.
But I love it because I genuinely get to sit back and enjoy them losing themselves in the light. But I remember one time when my son was younger, I was saying something about kind of what you brought up, but he's a good boy. I said, son, you don't want to, because you're going to end up in there, you think you get fucked in the ass. And then he's like, it seems like a lot of my advice to him ends up with, you don't want to get fucked in the ass. And he's like, I remember when he was like 14, he goes, why is that always I go, because trust me, you don't want that, son. You don't want that because there's no going back from that. And by the way, for anybody that ended up getting that whether they wanted it or not, I'm sorry.
Say,
I remember hearing some of his songs when he's 22 now, but when he was making songs at 18, I remember some of the lyrics. They were very 18-year-old lyrics, and I was like,
Very angst.
why? I was like, why is this always got? I go, never mind. I'm sorry, son. I look at my own shows. I go, you know what? Say what you want to say. Say what you want to say. Check him out, y'all, because I think you'll dig it.
yeah,
he's making
Reymundo and Mariah, right?
yeah, Reymundo and Mariah Reymundo.
Got it.
And he's probably got a library of 80, 100 songs on there, and he's fucking good.
Hell yeah.
Fucking good.
Yeah. That's
Remember
awesome.
you
So
said
is
that.
she. She's-
You remember said that talent generation skipped you and went right to them.
It did. It really, really, really did. I mean, her voice is amazing. It's a natural talent, and they're both amazing. I was telling my wife the other day, they're both just fucking great songwriters,
That's
and I don't know
awesome.
where they
Yeah.
get that, but they can fucking put a song together.
Hell yeah.
We only got about 5-10 minutes,
Yeah.
but I definitely wanted to ask this. Obviously comedy is storytelling, correct?
For some,
For some.
for me, yes.
Where would you say, where was storytelling introduced to you? And was it like, for me, mine was pro wrestling, obviously. But what would you say your storytelling came from?
I would say I vividly remember Bill Cosby, this story of Junior Barnes and the snowball, and just that timing of. And again, I was 9 listening to that, and I guess I stored it in my brain. James Gregory, the guy that I told you that I saw. Amazing storyteller,
Yeah.
and just all the comics that I've been around, and just trying to again. Every night I walk on stage, even tonight, I'm trying to figure this shit out myself. And that's what I love about the stage is that I'm trying to figure out what I think of what's going on. And it's my job to present it as best I can. And the best I can is telling a story. I look at some comics and I love them because some comic could talk about whatever the topic is and stay on that for 11 minutes. I just can't. And I've talked to several comics saying, hey, man, can you work with me? Because I'd like to do a little more of that. But I think, the things that I excel or that take me forward is when I'm just telling stories of whatever just happened to me. And so... Hey, my wife tells me all the time, who doesn't like a great story?
Oh, yeah.
Who
that's
doesn't like
right.
a great story? I think it's one of Ron White's biggest assets. He's just a great storyteller.
love Ron,
You
yeah.
could look at him, and as he performs, you think he's talking to 4,000 people, but it feels like he's talking to one person. And that ability is beautiful. And guess what? I don't always do it right.
But you're trying, man.
Hey,
and I think at this point, I mean, this is just me speaking, brother. Maybe you could go up there and you might think that you're bombing, but just your presence alone from where you've done for comedy, we're gonna be entertained if you ask me, brother.
well,
So
thank you.
that's
Thank
just
you
me,
for that
man.
respect.
Oh yeah, man, for sure. Where did you see did you think your comedy would get to a certain point after Latin Kings of Comedy as well?
You know, the Latin Kings gave me a great platform. Suddenly, people knew my name. Suddenly, I'd walk through airports and people would say, "Hey," and spot me and recognize me. You know, when I did the Bad Boys of comedy, I was walking through an airport and this black guy was like, "Bad boy," you know. And so, anytime you get a national platform, that's a great thing, and you should take advantage of that. And like I said, it goes back to what I said earlier: be yourself, study the tape, and don't suck, because that's what I tell myself every single night, whether there's 30 people in the audience or 3,000 people in the audience. And I've been blessed because both of those are great audiences. I've been blessed to be in front of all of those. And the fear of don't suck is me telling myself, deliver for these people. Deliver for these people. And as long as you're searching that, I think, it means you give a shit.
Oh, yeah,
it means
man.
you give a shit. So
Yeah, Ron, man, going back to Ron White, man, I was blessed I love comedy, man. It's like the second thing behind pro wrestling for me for entertainment.
Right.
Because I grew up.
By the way,
with
wrestling's awesome.
Yeah, I love it, man. I mean, you see me in every show that I have something wrestling on me, right? For the clothes and merch or whatever. But my thing is, Ron has always been the man, like you said, the great storyteller, and I can literally just listen to him all day with all the stories he has.
Yeah.
How long have you known Ron? You know, I know there's some history there. But
Ron and I, the day his first night of amateur comedy, and I've told this story a million times. Ron's very first night of amateur comedy, Arlington Comedy Club, Arlington Funny Bone, 1986 or 7 or whenever, September something. I only know that because that's what he always says. He was going to do 4 minutes, amateur night. He was a drug counselor and a storm window salesman. He came up, and before he went on stage, he was nervous. He was afraid. He went to the bar. He ordered a Budweiser and a shot of tequila, and Alex Reymundo was the bartender. So we met that very first night.
That's pretty awesome.
We met that very first night. We got drunk. We got high, and it was the 80s, so we did coke for about 3 years.
Hell yeah.
And we just had a ball. But we came up in the same comedy club, and we quit our jobs almost at the same time. He probably quit his job 8 or 10 months before me. Went on the road, and then when I quit my job, it seems like the first 3 or 4 years, Ron and I spent those years 80% of that time driving this nation in my truck or his. You know, I was the opener, he was the feature, and then when he became the headliner, I was the feature, and then when I started headlining, then we didn't work together, and then we didn't work together again until after he was blue collar and I was Latin King. And
y'all did the salute to troops, correct?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, you know, he invited me to do that, and anyway, we've been you know, brothers. For
that's awesome, man.
Well, since the beginning.
Yeah.
So what was it, 34 years or something?
Anytime I was doing any type of research with you, he was right there next to you, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I love that. I love that about it, man.
We began together, and then there was a time where, you know, we were different places, and then in 2008, when he quit working with the blue collar guys on the regular, and I quit working with the Latin Kings on the regular, he called me and said, "Brother, let's get back together and do all these big theaters, just you and me, like we used to do," which was amazing. Which is when we started Number Juan Tequila, which is when he married my sister in 2014, divorced her in 2018. But
still your brother.
Hey, he's still my brother, and she's still my
you go,
sister.
man.
You know, that's not between me and them. That's them, not me.
Yeah.
And I have a joke from that. People always say, "That's weird. I always thought he married your you married his sister."
That's what I thought.
Yeah, and I'm like, no. Ron married my sister because Ron's sister looks like Ron, and you don't want to fuck that. And Ron goes, he heard me do that. He goes, "Hey." I said, "Bro, I'm not saying. I was just saying I don't want to fuck you." He goes, "Okay." Hey.
My favorite Ron joke is when he talks about the Tiger Woods.
Yeah, it's a great bit.
God, that's such a great. If you haven't looked it up,
and that's a true story.
very true. Look it up if you haven't seen the Ron White Tiger Woods bit.
That's
Damn
awesome,
good, man.
Man, Alex, I appreciate your time, man. I know y'all show tonight. Man, again, I can't thank you enough. Tell everybody where they can find your tequila and purchase or.
Well, we're in Texas, so you can go to Specs and demand it. If some Specs carry it, some don't. You know, we're still out there working to get it seen. Alamo City Liquors in San Antonio has always been gracious to us, so I think they have 3 locations. Go check them out. Total Wine across the nation has us. But everybody, the best way, if your local liquor store doesn't have it, just ask for it and they can order it. But if they don't, go to our website, and that is the the cheapest price, I should say, the best price you can find in the nation. It'll be delivered to your front door. Go to numberjuantequila.com, and when you go to checkout, I'm just guessing, but in this state, this bottle's probably $60. Online, it's probably $49.
Okay.
But when you go to checkout, if you use the discount code Alex, it's another 15% off. So you probably get this for $42 delivered to your door.
So.
And we got to get it in here in New Braunfels.
Yes, we're gonna get it
Cindy
here.
here at Wildside said she wants to start talking to you about having it here downtown New Braunfels.
And you know what? I'm going to take this time just a second, a quick shout out to Wild Times, because I literally landed. Joe picked me up at the airport. We came straight here, and I thought he was going to kill me. It was like 45 minutes to get here. We're driving back to Kentucky.
Where are you taking me?
Yeah, but anyway, this is a really beautiful bar.
Wildside is amazing, man. They do great.
And she's going to carry Number Juan Tequila now. So come out and support this bar. If you haven't seen this bar, you got to see this bar. It's a nice hang.
Heck yeah,
it's a
man.
nice hang.
Heck
And
yeah.
thank you for your platform.
Oh, absolutely.
Jesse.
Yeah,
Jesse.
No. Yeah, Jesse.
And J-Rock.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. No, man, again,
And thank you, Joe Coronado.
there you go. Oh, hold on.
There you killed it.
My bad, Joe. Go ahead.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we're good. You're welcome. Sorry, I know there's a lot of background. They just opened up around here, guys,
Yeah.
and so people
Crowd's
are coming
starting to roll in.
Yeah, the Texas game's happening, so people are rolling in. So I'm just kind of getting the sound good. So, guys, I'm gonna show the flyer one more time. Make sure you get
Come to
out
the show
there
tonight.
to the show. Yes, Chanclas and Tequila, San Antonio tonight, 10 p.m. And man, get out there if you want to get tickets. AlexComedy.com. And I'm pretty sure you still get tickets at the door.
Yes,
Okay.
sadly.
Yeah, so, good. Yeah, no,
Come
no.
out. Come out. I'm telling you, it's
You're
going to be
gonna
a
have a great
good.
show, man.
You know what? It's not a big room. It's not a big room. Like I said earlier, it's a great
I like
venue
that
to see stand
intimacy.
up.
Yeah, I like
you know
that.
what? Ever since COVID, when they said you had to get vaccinated and your audience had to get vaccinated, I said, fuck all that, because that's not me. That's not. I'm that guy, everybody. I'm that guy, and I don't follow those rules. And so I've learned to play smaller places, and I still love playing in front of 2,000 people. I mean, it's beautiful, right? But in front of 150, we can have some fun that you can't have in other places.
No, it's gonna be awesome. I know we'll be heading out there tonight. My business partner there, Johnny, him and his wife got tickets already. So it's going to be pretty awesome. Jesse's going tonight, too. So we'll be out there, have some fun with you tonight, man.
I think I'm going to go, too.
Yeah, there you go.
Am I invited?
You're invited.
Heck
Oh,
yeah.
shit. All right.
Hey, hopefully Alex remembers me this time after I go to the.
There you go.
It takes 3 times to have pictures with
3
me.
times
There
the
you
charm, baby.
Hey, so Jesse, where can they find you real quick? All that good stuff?
Hey, you can find me downtown Social, right across the street from Wildside. I will be there next week, and then week after that, I'm going to be in Denver, Colorado. I got to go DJ out there for 3 nights. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, you'll see me all the way around. I'll be in New Braunfels several times, Las Vegas in a couple of days. So we'll be traveling a lot in the next couple of weeks for sure.
Heck yeah, man. Chancla, what about you, brother?
Everybody knows where to find me. You don't know me.
I love it.
I found you at the airport.
Yeah.
You found me at the airport.
I was just picking up your bags.
All right, guys. Hey, I appreciate everybody watching today, man. Right here at Wildside, I'm going to show the amazing video that Social Plug Media did for these guys once we log off here. So make sure you check that out. And again, man, shout out to Wildside for letting us come in here, man. It was a lot of ups and downs.
What's
today,
that drink?
so-
What is that drink?
So this is a flamingo drink. I haven't drank it. You want to
Is
try it
it
out?
tequila in it?
Jenna, what's in this drink?
What's the booze? It
Sounds
looks
like
beautiful.
Choro.
I'm
Yeah.
sure it's good, but no, I'm a tequila guy. If it had tequila, I'd say yes.
There you go.
But it looks beautiful. It looks
Yeah.
like we make a drink called the Red Mexican. It looks exactly
The
like
Red
it. It's
Mexican?
basically what she just said, but with tequila instead of rum,
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, no,
which
it
means
does.
no headache.
Yeah, right. Tequila doesn't give you headaches.
No, it
I
does
love that
not.
stuff, so-
It just makes your clothes fall off.
which is your head feeling good.
Yeah,
I
that's
think.
not a bad thing at all. That's not
That was
bad
a dick
thing at
joke,
all.
I think.
Yeah, that was a double
You do
whammy.
amazing on the gay strip. So
Hey,
with those dick
hey.
jokes.
All right, guys, make sure you go check these guys out tonight, man. Again, thank you
Esta
so much.
noche.
Yes, sir.
Esta noche.
Make sure you go check them out, and it's going to be awesome, man. So make sure you check out Social Plug Media, KickRocks Podcast here, man. We are on YouTube, Facebook, and Spotify. And make sure you go support us, man. Again, thanks, everybody. Guys, y'all have a great night tonight. And I'm excited, man. So
Thanks,
for
J-Rock.
you guys.
Yes.